Hi, everybody. This is Sunday, March 21st, and I've been thinking about doing this video. I was asked by some of the people that follow and know me to try to give some light into whatever's happening right now in the world. Um, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna talk a little about what I see at this point. We know the coronavirus pandemic is going on and it's now catching up in the United States. We're just at the beginning of this process. So I want to go into the deeper levels of what's going on to try to make some sense of spiritually what we're going through. And I just picked out six different cards. One of them, two different ones came up and try to make sense of what's going on. Okay, so the first card I picked up is called the Sacred Pool. And the Sacred Pool is a card that talks about our reflection in the water. Water is a symbol of our emotions. So I think that what's going on is we're being reflected back. There's a mirror of the emotions that we've been putting out there in the world. And possibly negative emotions like hatred and division and um, anger, greed, um, which is a behavior, but it's also a form of emotion in terms of wanting everything for yourself and just thinking about yourself and being selfish and not thinking about other people. So I think this is a time that we should look very clearly into what it is that we're putting out there in the world. If it's fear, we have to turn that into love. And I know it's a stretch to say to love what's going on right now, but we have to. We have to love um, this process because this is a cleansing of a sort. Okay. So basically, this is mirroring back to us what we've put up in the world, put out there. And it's clarified by the Ten of Pentacles, which in this specific tarot that I decided to use, it's really pretty. And I really feel it's very comforting because, in a way, it's telling us that we're building a new structure, a new order around the world. And this is a card of bounty and a card of having every comfort and everything that you need. And I think this is making us understand that we do have everything that we need in terms of our physical experience, but also we need to build that for the world, that everybody has what they need. Part of what I think it's coming to the surface and being very obvious is that the differences that we've created in terms of equality and access to for people to the basic things that they need is needs to be examined, and the world needs to be a safe place, a safe structure for everyone and for the world itself, for the natural world. We need to protect the planet and we need to protect it in a physical term too. So this is what I think this is going. The second card from second oracle is why. And again, it points out to our intentions, what is behind what we do, what we say, and the way we act. We need to examine why these things are happening in the world, and it is clarified by the lovers, which is a card of a decision basically, and it's a decision that should be guided by a higher level of ourselves, our higher selves. um, we need to examine our intentions. Doing something with the wrong intention will have negative results. Doing things and making decisions with the right intention will have positive results. And this has to be guided by higher power. And this is a card of coming together and union and love. And it's a divine love. But it's a decision. I believe that this is the first of a few forks that we're going to have. from now on, as a whole, as a species, in which we have to set clear intentions and make decisions guided by our higher selves and not our greed and our lower emotions, such as fear and anger and division and separation. The third card that came out, it's called Sulis, and it has to do with bodies of water. And water, we know also, as I said before, our emotions. And I believe this is also pointing to the fact that we need to examine our emotions and what it is that we're putting out there. And it also talks about purifying our emotions. And water serves a lot to do that. You can take a Epsom salt bath, and you can take a shower and consciously release all the fear and the anger and the pain that we have in our emotional bodies using water. It is really good for that. Um, yes, it's a beautiful card, talking about purification. And to clarify it, we have the King of Pentacles again, talking about the physical world as structures, our security, being the kings in our kingdoms, and having a safe structure upon which to work from. Um, this is a king that has to do with the work and the natural world and the physical world. So um, our emotions are affecting the reality that we are creating, and working with your emotions is going to help to create a different reality. We are co-creators, and our emotions are part of the things we use to create our thoughts and emotions. So we need to examine those emotions and transform them if we want to create um, a strong physical um, template for all of us. The next card that we have, it's faith, and this is a beautiful card. See the world regenerating and basking into the moon energy, which is a feminine energy. And it is followed by the Ace of Wands, which is a beautiful card that talks about a portal, an energetic portal that it's opening for us. See the the two doves, and um, I think we are on the verge of a new dawn, a new world, a portal, energetic and mental and psych- psychological and spiritual portal. And we're being asked to look at ourselves during this process. I think the quarantine and what we're doing, staying home and trying to do what we need to do from home, will give us the space, and we have to hold and create that sacred space to let the earth do what it needs to do and regenerate, and have faith that the whole of earth is going into a higher dimension and a higher level of consciousness too, as we are as species. But each of us is important, and all of us have to take this step through this energetic portal. Okay, and then the next card, it's the Sorcerer. And I want to read about this one because it's really interesting what it says. The Sorcerer is, let me go for it, 51, 48. Sorcerer. The Sorcerer. This is the source of dark power. The sorcerer represents the destructive aspect of the human psyche and the self centered behavior that harms others. It symbolizes the unconscious beliefs and ideas that foster separation, conflict, and scarcity. So there's a theme in this reading. When the sorcerer enters your circle, you're being called to look at how your beliefs around scarcity and self centered fear manifests in your world. Examine the destructive part of your psyche that misuses power or harbors feelings of resentment, vengeance, lust, greed, bigotry, or hatred. Perhaps you've harmed someone because of these dark tendencies. If so, all is not lost. You all have only forgotten that all beings are interconnected and the universe is abundant. The sorcerer arrives to challenge you to change your thinking. You're given a second chance. Correct your course and practice not blaming others for the darkness that lives inside you. Make peace with it and choose another way. I mean, this is like talking about everything I've just said. The medicine. Have you been feeling out of sorts because you've been faced with your own character flaws and the pain that you inflict on others when you are out of alignment? Radical self acceptance is called for now. You must reconcile these darker aspects of your nature so you don't behave irresponsibly and cause more harm to yourself and the ones you love. It's time to come out of denial and accept responsibility for your words and deeds. When you meet the energy of the sorcerer with humility, this destructive power transforms into grace, which you can use in service to the highest good. Perhaps it's time to make amends. Do it. It will set you free from the shadows and let you step into the light. So, this is basically shadow work. It's really coming to terms with the fact that we as humanity um, need to transform these instincts and this separation and anger and fear and all these negative things that we've been doing, and they're just being reflected back to us. But there's grace in it, but we just have to do the work individually so it can become a collective thing. There's something called a critical mass, and when enough of us do the work, it just spreads to everyone. To clarify the sorcerer strength, which is specifically overcoming your ego, overcoming your darkness, overcoming the lower nature. So we need to overcome our lower nature and we need to examine what's going on inside us and if what we're getting out there is our most primal instincts or our higher self, and transform that into love through consciousness. That's the only thing we can do. We are being forced to look at it. There's also something, there's a change in the perception that we have of power, how power manifests in our world. And this is all part of the shift in consciousness from accepting that power lies without and giving it away to politicians and churches and religions and other people, to understanding that we are responsible, we are um, we have to own our own decisions and we are the power in our own lives, and that we co-create either consciously or unconsciousness or unconsciously. So this is all about working to move ourselves to a higher level of consciousness. The next card that came out, it's the serpent, and I'm going to read that too, because again, it goes back to the planet and Earth and the species. And the serpent. The serpent is the life force of Mother Earth. The coiled serpent of the Kundalini brings passion, healing, and renewal. She offers us the fruit of the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden and reminds us to shed the past, the way she sheds her tired old skin. Serpent comes to offer you the forbidden fruit that will set your passion and creativity free, which is your own power back. The serpent power of the Kundalini is stirring within your chakras, gently asking you to embrace its mystery. Shed the old skin that you have been so attached to and welcome the vulnerable pink underbelly that will bring you a fresh experience of your life. Your passion and sexuality are awakening, and this can be scary. Trust the wisdom of the serpent to transform your sensual energies into beautiful, original manifestation. Again, transfer. Libido is a force that can be used either towards sex and, addictions and compulsions, especially sexual, or to create with a higher level of consciousness and creativity and art. The medicine, when you shed the past gracefully, life will not strip it away with great drama. Indeed, that is something you want to avoid. Do not use your energies to seduce others or allow yourself to be seduced, even by your own ideas. Brings me back to the understanding of self-deception, how we deceive ourselves all the time. And then the card that clarifies that one is the sun. And see, it was talking about the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden, and there's two children here, and they seem to be in the Garden of Eden, and this is the most positive, usually, um, card in the tarot, and it's a great card to finish this reading. I hope that you all enjoy what um, this video is all about. There's a lot of work that we need to do. There's a lot of self reflection. There's a lot of um, just being able to work with our lower selves, and in order to stay home and in order to do this in a very loving and I mean, we need to go inside and we need to help each other do this. There's a lot of self-reflection that needs to go, that needs to happen. um, the earth is just reflecting back to us what we collectively are living in terms of our emotions, and I believe this is an opportunity to transform, transcend, and transmute these energies, these negative energies individually into grace, and to have um, more consciousness and elevate our consciousness. Um, I send you all blessings. Stay calm. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Just take care of yourself.